How's it going, guys? Welcome to Out of Bounds. I am your host, James Skrmetta. Super late night edition here. We just wrapped up the World Series. The Kansas City Royals beat the Mets in a crazy game, which we will start with. We got a full show, a more packed show than usual, to be honest. I don't know how I'm going to pack this into 30 minutes, but if anybody can, it's me. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me here. Like always, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend 30 minutes with me talking a little sports on your Monday. First Monday of daylight savings time, so you got a little extra sleep. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to listen to the audio-only version, the ways to find it, iTunes. Just search my name, James Skrmetta, or go to my website, jamesskrmetta.com. All of the podcasts and whatnot are there. Also, you can go to audiomac.com, search James Skrmetta. We are always on there. If you want to see the video version, if you want to see my face, the graphics, and B-roll, all the video, the visual stuff for your eyeballs, then go on over to YouTube, search my name, subscribe, and you'll get every Out of Bounds episode and other fun-filled things that we do. Now let's go ahead and get this thing started. Kansas City wins the World Series in 5 games against the Mets, a very entertaining 5-game series. The Mets, I saw a stat from Keith Hernandez, the Mets play-by-play guy. It said that the Mets were leading. I want to say it was 43 out of, I'll have to look at the stat. It was like 43 out of 50-something innings. The Mets were leading, and they lost the series in 5 games. It's crazy how close the whole thing was for the Mets. And you're talking about the 15-inning game. If the Mets win that, it's a whole different series, obviously. Because, you have the chance to go up 3-2. Or you have the chance to go up 3-2 with your aces on the mound. And you have all this stuff, all this momentum. And it just seemed like they never, when they needed something to happen, it never happened. And nothing was more obvious of that than tonight. Or Sunday night. Matt Harvey pitches 8 incredible innings at home. Stadium is absolutely rocking. Win this game, and you get yourself a chance to go with Jacob deGrom in the next game, and potentially really get yourself back into the series. And Harvey goes out there, does exactly what you want your ace to do, exactly what Harvey has to do. Pitches 8 innings, 4-hit baseball, no earned. 2-0 lead. So that he's sitting in the dugout, and Terry Collins and the pitching coach tell him, "Hey, you're coming out. We're putting in Familia. We're putting in the closer. You did a good job, but we got to go to our closer." Harvey says, "Nah." Harvey straight up says no. He looks at Collins. He looks at the pitching coach. Says, "There's no way you're taking me out." The whole stadium is chanting, "We want Harvey. We want Harvey." And I have to admit, I was also saying, put Harvey back in. Let Harvey throw. He got you this far. Let him get 3 more outs. So Collins goes with his gut, or I guess really with his heart, and lets Harvey go back out there. So Harvey walks the first person. So then he keeps pitching. He gives up a double. So now it's 2-1, runner on second. They pull Harvey, go to Familia. Familia blows the save, but he blows it because Eric Hosmer's on third. There's 2 outs. They hit like a little chopper to third base. David Wright cleanly fields it, throws it to first. Lucas Duda gets the out at first, looking down the barrel at home plate. He throws it home. Hosmer's running for home. If he makes a good throw, Hosmer's dead to rights by 3 feet. Duda throws a 50-cent-esque knuckle curveball that goes to the backstop. Hosmer scores, ties it up. They go into the 12th and score 5 runs in the 12th. 7-2. Royals win the World Series. So the first. It's fitting, I guess, that the first time we talk about the World Series is when the World Series is over. But the Harvey decision, I think you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you're Collins and you take out Harvey right there, and you go to Familia, who's blown 2 saves in the series already, it's not exactly like he's been John Smoltz or something. So if you go to Familia and he blows it, how on earth can you defend taking out Matt Harvey, Mr. New York, the next Derek Jeter in his own words? How can you defend taking him out? That's something that you just can't live with, You just can't swallow that pill. The pill of, well, I threw Harvey, the fans chanted it, he wanted it, I went with the hot hand, I just needed him to get 3 outs. We had a 2-run lead, and the biggest thing, everything would have worked out if Duda would have just made the throw. If Duda makes the throw, series is continuing, we're going to Kansas City, it's 3-2, let's go. So, to me, that's the good call, putting Harvey out there. It's a risky call, I agree. But it's risky to take him out. Like it's not like it's one of those things where you have Mariano Rivera, you have someone like that. You have Juris Familia, who has not been good. That's a huge thing. He's the first pitcher ever now to blow 3 saves and win a World Series. So he wasn't good. And Harvey, in this situation, you have to almost think about it like a video game. I mean, I'm not saying, I know this would have never happened. But what if, instead of going to Familia, they take Harvey out and put in like Syndergaard? I mean, yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, it's like, that's a crazy move. But if you send Syndergaard out there, right, and Syndergaard to get 3 outs, and you send Syndergaard out there and he gets 3 outs, and then you go to Kansas City, those 3 outs are not going to affect Syndergaard's start. It's not like he's pitching on short rest. If he throws 15 pitches, gets 3 outs, closes the game, you don't think he can pitch on, let's say they travel Monday, that he'd be pitching on Wednesday? I think he'd be fine. He's rested all year, but we got to move on from the World Series. Congrats to the Royals. Great series, the Mets, miracle team, shouldn't have been in there. In June, they were the worst team in baseball. So the fact that they were even in the World Series is nuts. They have the perfect foundation of those starting pitchers. If they can keep them together, keep them healthy, and they keep pitching like that, they will. They'll be formidable in the NL East for the foreseeable future, which is not good because we here are Atlanta Braves fans, and the Braves can't hit anyone, so they're definitely not going to hit the Mets aces. Now, the NFL. Let's go to the NFL Sunday. I want to pull up the NFL scoreboard from this week. First, we'll talk Saints first. So the Saints won an absolute historic shootout Sunday at noon. 52-49, beat the Giants in the Dome. Okay? Breeze goes 40 for 50, 511 yards, 7 touchdowns. Eli Manning on the other side of the field threw 6 touchdowns. Crazy game in the Gumbo Factory. Absolutely insane. Ingram had 16 carries for 80 yards. Every receiver had close to 100 yards. Watson had the game of his life. Colston had a great game. Snead had a great game. Cooks had a great game. Everyone that we've been talking about on this show to have a great game had a great game. And I think it proves a few things. Proves the NFC East is not good. The Giants, first place in the NFC East, come down to New Orleans. New Orleans is probably not going to make the playoffs. Probably not. They're not that good of a team. And they put up 52 points against the Giants. So the NFC East is super weak, and I think Dallas can be a really good team if they get Romo back and they click. The fact that they're losing the games they're losing by 3 points, 2 points, 1 point, whatever, with Matt Castle and Brandon Weeden, if they get Romo back, that team can be lethal. I think they're the best team in the NFC East. If I was putting my stock in a team, that's who I would put it in. But as far as the Saints go, it shows that Drew Brees is getting comfortable. It shows that he's getting off of his injury. It shows that he's finding players. He's finding Benjamin Watson. He's finding Willie Snead. He's finding these players, and he's getting comfortable with them. And that's important for a quarterback. It's so important for a quarterback to find their Gronkowski or find their Randy Moss or find their guy who, when everything's breaking down, they can find. And Brees had that with Colston. He had that with Jimmy Graham. But now that Colston's kind of shifted to this player who really doesn't exist, Brees had to find some different pieces. And Cooks wasn't that guy because he couldn't get him downfield, and they just never found someone. So now that Benjamin Watson's kind of slid in there in the middle of the field and giving Breeze a big target to throw to, you have Willie Snead now kind of coming in. The whole thing is coming together for the Saints and Drew Brees. I don't think this is a playoff team by any means. I wish the defense was a little better, but if Ingram runs the ball just like this, 16 carries, 80 yards. You don't even have to do that. 16 carries for 70 yards is fine. If Ingram's running the ball like that and Breeze can do what Breeze does, the Saints team, there's no reason this team can't win 8-9 games. I said 10-6 to start the year. 8-8 right now would be fantastic. We still have some super winnable games on the schedule. I think we still play like Jacksonville or Tennessee, Washington, some teams like that. So we can still beat a lot of these teams. We beat Atlanta, Indianapolis, New York. These are not teams we're supposed to beat. So big time. If we would have beat Tampa Bay to start the season, we would be in playoff talk, and it'd be a different conversation we're having. But we're not. We're not having that conversation. We're having the conversation of just keep on rowing the boat. Let's not try and get too fast. You're driving good right now. There's no need to floor it. Just keep coasting. Let Breeze do his thing, and maybe I'll ease up on. If we keep winning, then I'll ease up on Sean Payton, and I'll turn the heat down on his hot seat. But what I wanted to talk about, why I was going to bring up the NFL schedule, let's bring it up right now. I've watched every game I can watch on NFL Sundays. I've sat on my couch. I've watched every primetime game. I've watched every game available. The NFL is hot trash garbage right now. Pure grade A garbaggio. I can't get over how bad the football is right now. I cannot get over. Let me read you some scores. Shall I? All right. So we started off in London with a 45-10 beating from the Chiefs, who are not good, to the Lions, who are even worse. 45-10. Then we got the Ravens and the Chargers, 29-26, a couple of 2-6 teams. Cardinals beat the Browns, whatever. Vikings beat the Bears, a couple of bad teams, 23-20. Then the Bengals and the Steelers, 16-10, 26 total points. Titans-Texans, 20-6, in the battle of Zach Mettenberger and Brian Hoyer. So, 2 26 total point games. 49er Rams, 27-6. Nick Foles, fun fact from Nick Foles, he has not thrown over 200 yards in a game after the first week of the season. Let me repeat that. Nick Foles has not thrown for more than 200 yards in a game this season since the first week of the season. That makes me want to puke. Let's move on, though, shall we? Sure. Then we have Buccaneers-Falcons go to overtime. All right? 23-20. Jets-Raiders with Geno Smith show, which is not fun for anybody. Then we go to the Cowboys-Seahawks 13-10, which sucks. Matt Castle threw for 97 yards. 97. And almost won the game against the Seattle Seahawks. 13-12. All right, we're having games now finish at 25 points. It's okay, though. We have primetime Sunday night, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers. So that'll save us, right? Wrong. 29-10. Aaron Rodgers throws for 77 yards. That's it. No, there's nothing else. He didn't get hurt. He didn't get subbed off. He didn't break his leg on the field. Nah. He played the whole game and threw for 77 yards. This is the same guy who people were comparing to Michael Jordan in his prime. People actually said that Michael Jordan in his prime and Aaron Rodgers right now are similar. And Aaron Rodgers goes out there and has a 77-yard game. 77 yards. There are 3 games on here that ended 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. All right, 3 games ended less than 27 points. Another game ended less than 35 points. This is crazy. Like, the level of football is so bad right now. It's mind-blowing. These teams don't have a shot. You know how we talked about college football and how rankings 1 through 20 have a shot at the national title. In the NFL, there may be 3 teams that are true Super Bowl contenders. I mean, these Lions, Chiefs, nope. Chargers, Ravens, nope. Cardinals, Browns, nope. Vikings, Bears, nope. Titans, Texans, nope. 49ers, Rams, nope. Giants, Saints, nope. Jets, Raiders, nope. Seahawks, Cowboys, nope. Who is going to win the Super Bowl? Right now, would you take this bet? I'll take the Patriots. You can have the rest of the NFL. That's it. Would you take the bet? Because who are you betting on? You're betting on Cincinnati. Andy Dalton's going to be holding the Super Bowl trophy. You're betting on Peyton Manning and the Broncos, who look really good Sunday night, but can their defense carry them that much throughout the rest of the season? I guess you have the Panthers, and that's about it, really. The Cardinals, I guess. The level of football is so bad in the NFL. I don't know what it is. I think it's a kind of a circular thing where the quarterbacks are changing. We only have a few good quarterbacks. I mean, I could go back and rename. I'll just go back and rename a few of these. Matthew Stafford, not good. Alex Smith's not good. Phillip Rivers is good, I think. Joe Flacco, Browns, you know how that is. Teddy Bridgewater, Jay Cutler, Zach Mettenberger, Brian Hoyer, Colin Kaepernick, Nick Foles, Geno Smith. I mean, I'm going down Matt Castle. I'm going down this list, and these quarterbacks are just terrible. The level of play in the NFL is absolutely garbage. I think the whole reason for me saying this, and the whole reason for me bringing this up, is that it's 8 weeks into the season, and I think we're done. It's over. We already have our Super Bowl champions. We already have our Lombardi trophy. Send it to New England. Who cares? Send it up there. Send it to New England, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Do you honestly think for a second that the game tonight would have ended with Tom Brady having 77 yards passing? Do you think that? Yeah, I don't. I sure as hell don't. Tom Brady would have probably beat the Broncos tonight. And I guarantee you he'll beat them in the playoffs wherever it is. If it's in Denver, if it's in New England, he'll beat Peyton Manning, he'll beat the Broncos. Guarantee it. Write it down. Billion% he beat the Bengals. I'm not saying that they're going to go undefeated, but I'm saying that they will win the Super Bowl championship this year. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a doubt, the Patriots are your Super Bowl champions. Write it down. Last time I told you to write something down was when USC beat Utah by double digits. Bust the pen back out. Bust your pen back out. Dip your feather in ink. Write this down. In 2016, at the turn of the new year, when the Super Bowl happens, and whoever the New England Patriots are playing, the New England Patriots will win. Question is, who the hell are they going to be playing? In the NFC, they're either going to be playing the Cardinals, the Panthers, or the Packers. I guess I guess that's it. But I mean, how can you sit there and be like, yeah, the Packers are going to be in the Super Bowl when Aaron Rodgers, the 2-time NFL MVP, threw for 77 yards. 77 yards. I understand the Broncos' defense is good. I get it. But 77 yards? That is out of control. I mean, you're talking about a Broncos team who should have lost to Kansas City. I just can't get over how there's no parity in the league. There's no parity. It's like you have a few teams that are above average. The Bengals, the Packers, the Broncos, the Panthers. Then you have these awful teams. I mean, I can't wait to see the draft order because it should be like it's hard for me to fathom a team being, because you're going to have teams like the Rams who aren't going to be in the top 10 for drafting. And the Rams are terrible. You're going to have teams like that who are not going to be in the high draft order who are so bad. The Buccaneers, I'm just looking at some of these teams that are probably going to win enough games to be in that middle of the pack. the Ravens, these teams are terrible. The NFL is just so bad right now, and it upsets me because I watch so much of it. All right, we're actually running well against the clock. We've had to shave a few takes off. I couldn't delve into what I wanted to talk about, but we will get into the MLS Minute. So go ahead and play my music. The first leg, thank you very much. Play the music. The first leg of the second round of the 2015 Audi MLS Cup was a beauty Sunday. 8 straight hours of hot, sticky MLS action. The first game pitted DC United as host against Supporters Shield champs, the New York Red Bulls. The Red Bulls not only got the win, but an incredibly important away goal on a 1-0 win on Dax McCarty's 72nd minute goal. In case you don't know how it works, on a 2-leg match, if it's tied, if the aggregate is tied, the tiebreaker is away goals. Next on the slate was Portland-Vancouver. The two played to a 0-0 draw in the Rose City, which means next game is just clean slate. So it turns into a knockout game. That's what happens. Pretty much they played a practice game. This upcoming Sunday is a full-on knockout game between those two. Then, is there a team playing hotter or better soccer ball than the Montreal Impact? I say no. The Impact got a 2-1 first leg win. Goals from Patrice Bernier and Johan Venegas won the game. And write this down. The Montreal Impact will be your MLS Cup champions. They're playing too good. Didier Drogba has his team playing like they're playing in the Champions League. Final match gave us some late heroics from the greatest American soccer player to ever live. Sounders 2, FC Dallas 1 after Clint Dempsey deposited an 87th minute free kick that was just straight filthy. Straight filth. Top bins, eating at Benihana's. Clint Dempsey, the man. Second leg continues next Sunday. Same kind of deal. 8 straight hours of soccer ball. Got to love it. That was your MLS Minute. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're watching some soccer. All these games are on cable. They're all on Fox Sports or ESPN. Check your local listing. And during some of these garbage NFL games, where you're stuck watching Matt Castle throw for 96 yards, flip it on and watch some Didier Drogba. Now let's get into the college game, shall we? Worst week of betting so far. College, we did all right. 2-1. We gave you 3 picks, got 2-1. Houston covered. They beat Vanderbilt by 30. USC Cows over, did not cover. Like I said, USC came out a little low, a little lax. I think the total was like 28-21, something like that. So the total didn't even get to 50, much less 70. And then Oklahoma minus 40 against Kansas. Of course they covered. They were playing bleeping Kansas. NFL was a big problem, though. We started off hot. Frisco, St. Louis under 39.5. Easy cover. Saw that coming a mile away. Then Pittsburgh minus 1.5. We walked into the trap. Or it really wasn't a trap because we took Pittsburgh. But we walked into it, said, hey, let's see what happens. And Pittsburgh blew it late. Big Ben is not 100%. He's not even 80%. It's going to take him at least another week. Maybe another week until that team's clicking like it was. But they proved that they have the gunpowder or the firepower, I guess, to beat Cincinnati. Once Big Ben's back, once they're all healthy, I think they definitely could. But we lost that one. Then Jets minus 3. About 40 seconds into the game, Ryan Fitzpatrick broke his hand or something, tore ligaments all over the place. So once Geno Smith took over, I could have, if I would have had a Bodog Live account, I'd be like, okay, well, this isn't going to hit, so let's bet on the Raiders. But can't do that. Injuries happen. And like in the Pittsburgh game, Le'Veon Bell got injured. Can't see that coming. Hurts us. We got busted by both of them. Betting on Geno Smith is not a good feeling, and it's very hard to win. You'll never win, and that's just a fact, Jack. So we lost that one too. Then, of course, we had Green Bay minus 2.5, and I cannot tell you what happened. I can't tell you why Aaron Rodgers threw for 77 yards. That still blows my mind. 77 yards. That means he averaged less than 20 yards passing per quarter in an NFL game as the 2-time defending MVP. That is nuts. If you got me out there and I played quarterback. The difference between me throwing for 0 yards or I could throw screen passes. I mean, who knows? And 77 yards. That's unbelievable. There's flea flickers that go for 77 yards. And he couldn't do it in one game. But Monday night we have Carolina -7 against Indy. So if they cover, then we'll be 2-3 in NFL picks, 2-1 in college picks, which isn't that bad. But 1-4 in NFL picks would be terrible, especially after going 4-1 last week. So need to kind of lock that up. We're actually doing great on time. We might finish this right on time. Let's go into the top 5. All right, college football. Totally different than the NFL, like I said. College, anyone can win. There are so many teams that can win the college football playoffs. And the top 5 changes a little bit every week. Last week, it was TCU at 1, LSU at 2, Michigan State at 3, Ohio State at 4, Clemson at 5. Now, none of those teams lost, so no major shakeups. There is one big change. Let's just run down the list. TCU is 1, LSU is 2. Get this, LSU is open line at plus 6.5 against Bama. I believe that's right. I might have to double check that, but I think they're like 7-point dogs against Bama, which is crazy, right? Which is nuts. If that's the case, then that could be trap bet. We could be talking about that come Friday. But anyways, Michigan State's 3. Clemson is 4, so Clemson moved from 5 to 4. Clemson just keeps winning. They got dynamic offense, strong defense, good coach, good quarterback, someone they can rely on. They check off all the boxes. Here's the difference. Ohio State drops out of the top 5 because of J.T. Barrett's arrest. J.T. Barrett was arrested. This is Ohio State's off week. He was arrested on OVI, which is somehow different than DUI. OVI is operating a vehicle under the influence, which sounds a whole lot like driving a vehicle under the influence, but somehow it's not. I don't know if operating a vehicle means you're just like turning on the windshield wipers or something, but it's not a DUI apparently. He's only suspended 1 game, but with that much stuff going on, they already weren't playing well. That means Cardale has to start playing again. It's just too much shaking up. It's too much shaking up for me. I don't know if I can keep. I was keeping them in my top 5 because JT had them kind of coming back around, and I think they will. They have to go to Michigan. Like, they have to play Michigan. They have to play these tough games. And I don't know if they can beat these teams, honestly. And I don't know if they can win the Big Ten. And I mean, if they get a loss to one of those teams, I don't know if you can put them in the playoffs. So I had to take them out. Alabama is my new number 5. Big reason is because they play LSU this week. Whoever wins that game is the odds-on favorite to win the SEC. And if LSU wins, that's a huge game for them to win because that means they can lose a game. You know, if they beat Bama and then lose to Ole Miss, they're still okay. They're still all right. They're still in the position to make the playoffs. But they got to win. They have to beat Alabama, in my opinion, if they want to get in the playoffs. Because if they don't beat Alabama, then more than likely Alabama's going to find a way in the playoffs. That's just how it works. That's just how life is. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just saying that's how it is. It's how it's going to be. So that's my new top 5. TCU 1, LSU 2, Michigan State 3, Clemson 4, and Alabama 5. That's actually somehow the show. We did the whole show. I just finished in 30 minutes. Just hit on the dot. I mean, we are good. Like, we are killing the time. We fit a lot of stuff in there. I wish I could have talked longer. I really do. I had enough content to fill 3 hours easy. But with your help and with the support of the listeners and all the people commenting on the show, sharing the show, rating it, reviewing it on iTunes and all that stuff, maybe I can move this to a larger platform to where we can discuss things for 3 hours, 5 days a week, where there's calling in, where there's, all that stuff. So let's root for that. Let's hope for that. Let's keep it going. Let's keep moving forward together. We'll do this together. Thank you guys again for listening. I hope you have a great week. I am your host, James Skrmetta. This has been another great, exciting episode of Out of Bounds. Have a fantastic rest of your week, guys.